G'day mate, how are ya?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Better be Bob. Gonna try and get myself a job. Any chance of a job, mate?
Well Bob, can you sell bolts? You're a battery.
I sure am, mate. Call me Battery Bob. I can sell anything, mate.
Well Bob, you seem like a good trustworthy battery. That is what you are, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well Bob, you've got the job.
Yippee!
Now just don't change anything. My work at Project 71's out the back, okay? I've got all my trust in you Bob. Do a good job, he'll help you. And don't change a thing. You good with that Bob?
Thanks, mate. Project 71. You work for me now. Project 71, put those bolts down. Get that sign up. I'm selling batteries now, not bolts. Put it on the front counter. Hurry it up. Come on. I've got all day. That's better. Water, back out the back. Got lots of batteries for you to unload. Go on, move. Remember Project 71 and get that sign off the wall before the owner gets back, right?
There you go, mate. Just after a battery like this one. It's a battery shop, right? Looks more like a bolt shop.
It's a battery shop as well now. I'm Battery Bob, mate. What's a battery's favourite fruit? Carrots! Ah!
Go on, Bob. Do you have this battery?
Sure do, mate. Got a better battery than that.
Thanks, Bob.
$20, mate.
On you, mate.
Sweet. I'm in money.
By the way, Bob, what's the warranty on this battery?
A minute or more. Whatever comes first. But I can offer you a dead battery. They're free of charge.
Well, Bob, I better be on my way. I've got a hot date tonight.
Good on you, mate. Do you know what I put on my dating profile? I'm a pretty positive guy and I'm full of energy and spark. But I do have a negative side.
Rightio guys, we'll get into episode 4. That Battery Bob's a character for sure. We're going to get started with the diff. So we finished up on the front end and now we're going to the diff. So I didn't have a diff, so if you look at that bit of plate there, this is the start of the diff. So I had a big 10mm sheet of steel. You can most factory diffs like 9 inches are made out of mild steel and stuff. Some housings obviously in race cars made out of chromoly, but mild steel is what I had to work with, and some chromoly. So you can see there's that big plate I've cut out. That's the pumpkin of a 9 inch. Basically I was making the face plate here. Once I had that, I started to look at it on the ground. I had the spindles and stuff and trying to work out how to put it all together. Now I did get some big chromoly tubes for the axle tubes. There's the spindles there. They've been machined, dropped in, and you can see that big V in them. That's where I welded them up. Used a really big rod, 3.2mm at nearly 240 amps on the TIG, so it was a massive heat and weld going into them. Make sure they were super strong. Once that was done, basically I had the inserts there. I machined them up on the lathe, and I had a 32mm bar that went through the guts of it. There's a big beam that I bought to make the diff on, so I could bolt it down to the beam. Number one thing on the diff this wide, this diff is 2 meters 200 wide. It's a really big wide diff. That's what the off-road trucks run. Just kept measuring it, working everything out, and then the first plate that I cut up, I did more cutting. As you can see there, that's the base plate that takes the 9 inch diff center. Yeah, there it is, all jigged up, and there you go. I've bolted it onto the plate where the diff gasket will go, and then started working out that pink bit of cardboard. There's basically the crown wheel, dumbing it up how big the crown wheel is to make sure I've got room. And basically it's a sheet metal diff, so hadn't built any of these before. It's short and 9 inches and stuff like that. But this is the first time I've done a diff, and especially this big, so it was basically off to the CNC angle grinder, cut plates up, make plates, start filling them all in, and trying to make it look like a diff. There's a video coming up here in a sec, and you'll see more of what I was doing. Okay, update on King Kombi. It is now March 2018. This is the Sunday, the 18th of March 2018. Now, not a lot's happened on the chassis and stuff. The last update was in November, so basically a bit over 3 months earlier last year. So we've been very busy with lots of stuff going on. Busy in the shop in the December area. I didn't get a chance to pretty much touch anything here. Any spare time was spent on our little Kombis, which I'll show you in a minute. Been busy working on them through the December, January area, getting them painted and stuff. The diff is our main objective now. Most of the front end's done, besides shocks are all mounted, they're off, top control arms are done. Got to mount the steering box and a lot of the accessories and stuff, and all the steering arms. That'll be next once we get the diff and the rear end section done. Here's the diff here. A lot of work in here. We had to make inserts up for the shortening the diff, or making the diff. These are the inserts that go in. That's a 38mm bar. Had to get that. Make the inserts on the lathe. Lots of learning on the lathe. Make inserts inside here. You can see inserts in here. That's so that the diff's perfectly aligned. Had to get this big beam, quite heavy. Here's the other insert. So yeah, it's locked down now onto the jig. It's at the correct length. Now I'm doing all the reinforcing. So I'm making all the plates for the diff to make it all strong. Yeah, but it's quite a mission, but it's coming along nicely. That's what it looks like so far. So I'd say honestly another week and a half on the diff and we should have something done. Then we'll be taking the diff off the jig, putting it down, and start to set up the rear end. Trailing arms, shock mounts, top trailing arms, everything that's involved in the rear end. So the back section of the Kombi, that's my objective over the next 4 to 6 weeks to get all that done. Once that is done, the front steering arms, the car will be lifted up, the chassis, and then we'll be able to do the finish welding underneath, and then fit out will begin. So I'd like to be honest and say within three to 4 months we should have a body mounted rolling thing making flag guards. But yeah, a lot of work to go, but we'll push hard on it. Could even be earlier if we work hard enough. Other updates over Christmas we did extensions here. We ran out of room. We made a room. This will be for clean area. All parts of the King Kombi. Here's the wheels. We've got spare boxes, storage area, nice shelves. All of our cars for the show will be going through here. Here's completed bodies. That's why we've been busy doing lots of bodies. There's another one upstairs. Lots of work going there. More chassis down here. So lots going on. We've got a stereo fitted up. Well done, Brucey. Bruce has been very active too. He's also been busy, but we are pushing on. So there's our update on King Kombi. Lots going on. We're only a 1-man and 2-man team when Bruce is here. We haven't got 15, 18 employees yet, but we're going to push hard and we'll keep going. More updates soon, King Kombi. Cheers. So the diff continued on, and you can see there I've sort of making up the rear housing. That's basically where all the oil and stuff will go in. You can see plates going in there, tigging them around, tigging the tubes in. They had to be super strong, so lots of fabrication there and cutting up more plates. And you can see inside there, that's basically where the crown wheel and stuff will go. Weld up this big huge steel plate for the back and trying to join it all together. More plates cut up. Yeah, just basically more and more welding. It's starting to look like a bit of a tank of a diff, and it was coming together. Used really, as I said earlier, heavy rods here, 3.2mm. Going to put extra bracing onto the diff. You'll see here, starting to look like a diff now. And yeah, the diff was soon done. Big welding in through there. Here's a video. Okay, 22nd of March 2018. Diff housing's all done now. So we've got diff housing all done. It's fully welded now. Rear braces on. time to start making brackets. So we've got our inserts in the diff and they move nice and free. Brace is still in there, we're going to pull the bar out. Here's the opposite side. Tells us the diff's straight and axles will go in. There we go. The diff housing all done. Righto guys, so now that the diff's done, I just want to give you a bit of a comparison on what we built King Kombi off. So in America you got, and in Australia you got trophy trucks and you got Pro 2 trucks. The trophy truck's the much heavier version that you'd see in the Baja 1000 or the Think Desert Race, and the Pro 2 truck is a much lighter car. So a trophy truck will weigh up to 5,500 to 6,000 pounds, and a Pro 2 truck will weigh as little as 3,750 to 4,000 pounds. They run a 35-inch tyre for the Pro 2s and a 40 for the trophy trucks. So yeah, that's the difference. The Pro 2s run on a smooth groom track, and that's what we really built King Kombi chassis off. Obviously the roll cage is completely different for the body, but all the wheels, brakes are virtually identical. Next thing I'm going to move on to is me setup of the suspension and how to figure it all out. Okay, 25th of March 2018. I'm working on the rear swing arm for the Kombi, King Kombi. There it is. So here we go. This piece of wood here represents the rear swing arm. The bolt up there will be the front pivot point where it joins the chassis up to the back here. Now at the back here, where we've marked it out with texture here, this represents the diff housing. This represents the diff housing mounted just below the diff housing, which is the actual rod end there. That's what we're using, so we've put that in the same position. Now this car has a 35-inch tyre, so we've split that in half. We look right here, so it's a 35-inch tyre divided by 2, 17.5. Now with weight on it, in metric, we've allowed for 15 mil of tyre squash, which should be close enough. That'll give us 425 mil. Now that 425 mil, that is measured from here to the edge of the table, which is 425 mil. Now we've put several different possibilities down here. This is the swing of the shocks. Now these two bits of wood represent the shocks. And if we look at this end, this is the bypass shock, this one here. It has 15¼ inches in the shock if we pull it out to a bottoms out on the rubber stop. The coilover shock, which is this one here, it represents 13½ inches if we pull it out till it hits the rubber bump stop. Now we've got some marks there, plenty of marks there, but this mark here and this mark here, we want them to line up on the same spot for perfect shock geometry. Now after marking many different throws out, what we get, the further out we go, the less shock travel we got. So 18½, 18¾ 19½, 20½, all the way up there to 26. Pro 2 trucks in America, which we base this on, their class rules limited to 20 inches of rear suspension travel. We can get a little bit more than that. We don't need a lot more for what we're doing, because we're not going over rough terrain like a trophy truck. So if I drag this down, we'll watch this here now. So we'll bring this down. Okay, we'll stop that there. Now this is the 15¼ If we look here, that one stops on there. The other one doesn't quite make it, but this is the best I could get with these two bits of wood separated at about 135 mil. It's about 20 mil, so I'm gonna have to live with that. Everywhere else I move it, it gets either worse, like goes up to 30, 40 mil, or that's the closest we can get it. Now we're gonna have, gauged on that, 24 inches of suspension travel. This one doesn't matter because it'll just follow the other shock, but it'll be 20 mil from not bottoming out in the body, which I can live with. So there we go, that's what it is. How do we measure that? We get a tape measure. Now that mark there will be where it mounts onto the, where the diff is. That's it right there. And we bring that up over to here. And we're pretty much on there, pretty much on 24 inches. That's based on our shock being pulled out to there. So there we go. That's what we've done. So if we bring it back, see there we've got 24 inches. We'll bring that back up. sits on there. Remember, there's the diff housing there. There's a big rod end mounted underneath it, up to the front. Now this is at full bottom mount, mind you, so the car's completely bottomed out where we're setting it up and where we're mounting the shocks. The shocks will be mounted at 90 degrees to the arm. So there we go. That's what we've worked out. Onwards. Rightio, it was time to move into the rear arms. Now, what you're going to see here is the first rear arms I made. These were, at the end of the day, I wasn't happy with them, and we built these to start with. But they weren't exactly what I was looking. The finished product was shit, and I wasn't happy with it. I ended up having to lower the shocks lower so that the arms wouldn't rotate over with the rod ends. But these got us started. You'll see here all the plates and stuff going in, but these ended up being throwaway items. But they did the job of setting it up initially to hook up the chassis to the diff and so forth. So a lot of work went into these to no avail. So that's, they call that the uni ball at the front there, or they call them a wobble stopper. More and more brackets getting made up. All these brackets we ended up using. These were the mounts that mounted underneath the diff. Yeah, you'll see them getting made up here. These were the plates that joined up under the diff right there. There's the top plates that went onto the diff, and another video here.
Video update, 24th of April 2018. Here we are, we're working on the back of the King Kombi. Lower links in, chassis bars in, diff in, top links in. Well, the brackets are, we're working on that. It's a bit of a mess, the place. That's the way it looks when you've been shoveling shit everywhere. Well, the way I get it done.
I'm just hanging up some tools.
Yep. Bruce is doing a clean up, which he's supposed to do daily, but he neglects it.
That's not my job.
Oh,
I have to have a look at here. This is my year. I don't know. Maybe it should be a year, maybe 23 or 24 there.
This is our diff simulation jig. We use this to work out the pinion angle on the 9-inch going up and down in the back.
School project. It's like a school project.
But it did work. All of our simulations are made out of wood and stuff. That's where we're up to. We're hoping by the end of May, this thing should be rolling. When we say rolling, I mean pushing it around.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep that Kombi rolling. That's as far as you get.
Rightio, so off the top of the rear diff was the next brackets. These brackets here are the front ones. So for the top, it's got a 4-link rear suspension triangulated. So these are the very front top plates. I say arm a lot, but I can't stop it. I've been told not to say arm, but it's just the way I am. So it is. So all getting reinforced. All the little plates getting in there, and here's another video coming up here in a sec. Right, I got all those brackets sort of tacked on and many measurements, and I was happy with the front 4-link brackets. And then I started to put all the bars in and stuff like that, and set the rear shocks in for the first time, and I could start to drop more bar work in once that happened. So more bars started quickly going in, started to build a structure. I had to make the back of this super strong. Bars going everywhere, lots of welding going on. The middle part looked like a spider's web basically. Here you'll see where I had to TIG all these bars together. It just ends up in a big web of weld. Back to my CNC angle grinder. Chop more brackets up. I had to make a top mount. The top mount was for the shock mounts there. You'll see that's starting to come together. Probably better ways of doing it, but this is what I could really figure out. So I made this plate up which incorporated both the top shock mounts. Then I started to put bars into the roll cage. I thought that'd be the strongest way I could do it, and it ended up being pretty strong. Probably could do it different ways and nicer ways, but first time doing it. We'll move on to the next video.
Just having a quick look here, see what Simon's doing. Some more chassis work, some more welding. Bit of stuff on the rear end, shock mounts. Trying to tie in some more rear bars, some more structure. Fair bit more work to do.
Always just adding bits and pieces, making sure everything's nice and strong, structural. How are we going, Simon?
Yeah, good. We're getting all this bracing pipe work welded in now, so a fair bit of welding here to do. All these are on the half welding. Finish off some bar work in here welding, and same over this side it needs welding. So yeah, no, coming along pretty good.
Awesome, it's all good to see. Every extra bit we do is another step further towards getting everything finished.
Sure is.
Happy days.
So with all the rear shock mounts and diff in, it was time to move back to the front again, because the bottom lower control arms needed welding up because they were only tacked in, as you can see here in this picture of the uni ball. So it was time to make all the brackets, reinforce that area, make it super strong and weld everything up. You can see here where the uni ball is on the very bottom, lots of plates around that, big pipe going in, and it's all welded up. So we'll move on here to the next video. This is pulling the front end back apart.
Here we are reporting live from King Kombi Entertainment headquarters. Another momentous occasion moving forward in our quest to build King Kombi. Over to you, Simon.
This is the first time we've released this front end off basically our jig. So we set the car up at 92 inches on the rims. Obviously we don't have a jig for this, so we've levelled everything off the ground and bolted everything down. If we were mass producing these, we'd definitely have a jig for it. Wouldn't matter if you built a jig a metre off the ground or on the ground, it's still would be level, and that's how we set it up. So these rims are in here at -1 on the camber, that's how we set it up. So these lower control arms that we've built, we're back to the front end now, a bit of surface rust, but we've cleaned up and moving on. We've got to weld all the uni balls on down underneath here, and we cannot get to them until this rim and stuff's out of the road. So our next step is we're going to basically remove all the strut, remove the rim, put the top control arm on down the track. When we put this, we'll lift the arms right up and we'll do all the finish welding on them, and we'll box up around the uni ball and stuff. But yeah, it's the first one we'll be able to do that. Once that's welded up, we will put the top control arm back on with the wheels on, which will be at full bottom out. So the same as what the rear is now, the suspension's at full bottom out. We'll have the front wheels on at full bottom out, and that way we can mount the body and do the trimming of our guards, because we have to make massive flares for this. So we're moving on, that's what we're up to now, and we're also going to mount the steering box in before that goes on. So yeah, there's a bit more movement in the progress.
Nice one. We shall get back to wrenching on the tools and keep moving. Okay, here we are, 28th of May 2018. Just attaching the lower control arms and the upper control arms together for the first time. Just done some minor tweaking to some of the shaping of the outer blocks, so we can get some decent steering left and right.
Yep, so this is the first time we've had it together as an assembly. So what we're doing now on the lower control arms here, we've reinforced all in here and TIG welded all into this place, put some upper plates into here, made sure the thing's got a proper steering lock, which it's got plenty, as you can obviously see. It's got plenty that way. We're still going to put the caliper bracket on, which hasn't been done yet, but we'll do that when it comes off of the last sort of assemblies and stuff. But everything fits now, everything's fully welded. So our aim now is to get the wheels on the front. We'll do the other control arm and get that all welded up and done. And then once that's done, wheels on, we're going to be looking at steering box. That's still yet to go in, and from there, where are we up after that? We'll be looking at getting the body downstairs. We're still waiting on the sway bar to arrive. That's coming in from Mackenzie's or Pro-Am in America, from Roy de Barnes. So as soon as that arrives, we'll be on to that. So we're moving on. Every day's progress.
What do we got here, Simon?
We are now mounting our steering. It's got power steering, this thing. So this is a Fortin rack. So we've made up these plates here. There's actually two plates there. we've got a hole through underneath for the steering knuckle to come through. So we're about to use a transfer punch here. This will go through here. We're going to put the holes in. It's got 7/16 bolts. Then we're going to put these plates back into the chassis, which we've been working on over here. They're going to sit in between here and here. We've got to put a flange all the way around the thing. It's going to be super heavy, this thing. It's pushing some big wheels, this. So yeah, that's what we're up to, mounting the steering. A little bit different to the average steering on a car, but yeah, get that in there now.
Alright, these big wheels need to be turned somehow. Let's set over to the bench and see where we're at. Steering box.
Yep, so this is King Kombi's steering box mount. So this goes in between the chassis. So this is our power steering pump here. Steering assembly made by Fortin. So we've got to make a really solid assembly. This will bolt onto it. What we're doing now, we're just doing the last bit of welding, gussing it in. It has welding inserts inside there, so when it's tightened up it'll be good and strong. So yeah, we can only really look at pictures of how these are mounted, of the trophy trucks and the Pro 2 trucks, but yeah, I think we've got it fairly good. So we're going to mount this into the chassis here this afternoon, and that'll turn those big wheels.
So thanks heaps guys if you made it this far, and I hope you like the build series. I'm learning how to video it at the same time, so something works pretty shit, but that's how you learn. Video editing is not my strong suit, but I am learning. And tell your friends about it, like and subscribe, and yeah, thanks heaps for watching. We'll see you next episode.